Hey, hi guys, welcome to another podcast from EverestIMS. Today I have Deepak Gupta with me. Gupta, again, one of the old timers with us, working for almost 15, 16 years, I think, together. And he's been our go-to guy whenever it comes to service management, right? He's certified, of course, certified in that. He's been heading the products in the service management space ever since, I think, last 12, 14 years. So thanks, Gupta, to being there. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Satish, for calling me for this podcast.
It was a long-awaited time. So I think your favorite topic, right? Is especially now we are looking at ITIL V4 getting adopted more, right? Why is V4 come into existence? Can you talk us through what our organization doing with it?
Okay, so basically, as per my experience, so ITIL is having a long history of more than 30 years around. Okay, so every 5 or 6 years, they keep on refreshing based on the industry changes. They keep on refreshing actually their release version. So keep on refreshing the best practices, which globally all the organization follows. Okay, so so this is again a new version which actually came 2019 around. Okay, and then because of COVID, the companies basically adopted a bit slowly. Okay, after COVID, it is gradually increasing. The usage is gradually increasing, and the demand is also coming now. Basically in the government, PSUs, and banking space. Okay, that is coming for the compliance purpose, or maybe those who want to put the best practices for their organizations. So those kind of companies in the government and PSU banking segment, they are adopting ITIL 4 because they are a bit of safeguard. Basically, they will get a best practices or the tools which are following the best practices. But when you come to the enterprise, they actually they can use any other tool also, but they are also demanding ITIL 4 because they also want a complete organized kind of practices which they follows into their organization. Okay, so and they will get that much more advantage with that. Like say they can streamline their all SLAs, then they can improve the productivity of their entire organization. Okay, and then the ITIL 4 is not about just an IT. Earlier it was IT. Now they are talking about complete enterprise service management, which is basically with the multiple departments. Actually, all the department who uses IT and ITS ITS services, they can basically use the ITIL 4 concepts. And ITIL 4 is also like say because they are doing almost global research throughout the industry, so they are also coming up with all the latest technologies. Like say now all the ITIL practices are followed with the say AI ML adaptation. Okay, then they are asking DevOps, especially in the release management, change management all together. So the DevOps, okay, lean IT, they are coming up with lean IT because now the teams will be very thin. So because they want to improve the productivities and they want to align things with a smaller team. So lean IT is another one. Then there is an complete integrations with multiple tools, follow the multiple channel support. So those kind of things are coming, already came in the ITIL 4 version, and all the old practices they have carried so that the transition could be easier to the organization. And then on top of that, the latest technologies they have aligned in ITIL 4. So that's what it is. And then adaptation is basically after 22 around. Okay, it is gradually increased. Then now next 3 to 4 years, it is going to increase also for further increase. And after that, probably ITIL 4 will come up with further new version. Okay, and based on the industry usage, they will keep on improving.
Okay. If you have to tell me 3, say, core differences between V4, what V4 has got us to what V3 was.
So V3 basically is they were following a life cycle model first of all. Okay, it is like say from the strategy to the design to the operation, then further to the transition, and then continuous improvement. So this is basically, they have instead of following the life cycle approach, they have followed they have structurized in multiple practices, which is in 3 segments. Basically, they say core practices, basically, which they followed organization wise, and then there is service management practices are there, and then there are platform, basically technology services are there, practices are there. So around, I think, 34 practices they have splitted, which was I think around 26 in previous version. So something like that.
So am I right in saying that it's more oriented to how companies are now?
Actually, so they are basically changing how company works. So they are what they do. They go to the organizations and they see what practices they are following, and among them they choose the best practices who follows, and then they combine and make so it is a common. They make a common concept of best practices, so that it is easier for anybody to basically put into their organization and get the advantage of ITIL.
So what kind of because it's become big now. It's not, V3 was something I think more smaller, right? It's become much bigger. It's oriented. So what kind of companies do you think should choose V4?
I will say that it is not a bigger, but it is, let's say, something similar, but they are also simplifying it.
Okay.
Apart from that, they are basically making basically splitting those processes into small practices, okay, which is more aligned to the current environment, how they functions currently. See, when ITIL 3 came, that time also it was very much aligned with the industry, okay. But that time the industry functions that way. Now the industry is functioning a different way, so ITIL is aligned on these concepts, okay, like especially the AIs and DevOps and other stuff, okay. And however, the talk is already happening since 2015, but as ITIL came in 2019 and it got delayed a bit, now people started
adopting it much more, right? There is this whole thing about certification, right? Can you explain what it is, and who do you think would find it useful?
Okay, so say if your question is like, say, if which kind of company should use the ITIL. So first I will answer who should not use the ITIL. Okay. Who should not use? Yeah. So who should not? Who cannot absorb a bit of overhead? See, whenever you are choosing some standard practices, so definitely there will be a bit of overhead because you are functioning one way. Now somebody is suggesting, you function in this way. So then what will happen? You will feel a bit of overhead. The transition will be a little bit difficult. So those who can't absorb, basically those who don't have time, especially the startups, smaller startups, okay, and the small companies, okay, who cannot absorb that, okay, and those who don't have much of infra on place. So those kind of companies should not use ITIL, okay. But those companies who want their practices to be standard and they want to follow best practices, okay, and then they want to basically be a future ready kind of things. Say when company grows, then they should not feel a drastic change in their operation. So basically those kind of companies basically should start using ITIL. Gradually they can increase basically the practice uses one after the others. They can increase. It is not like very first day you require all the practices to be followed. So gradually they can increase. And then even though in ITIL 4 there is they are saying the maturity model of the organization. So they are having a level 1 maturity, level 2 maturity, level 3 maturity. So they can start with level 1 maturity and then further they can mature. So those kind of company should use the ITIL. Okay. Apart from that, say, even though for the tool side, those tools who are focusing on the simplicity, like say, ITIL is, if you go just a book, you will find it is very complicated. Okay. Yeah. So the tools who are helping actually to simplifying this ITIL. Okay. And then those who are scalable enough, those who are continuously coming with the new feature set. Okay, those who are basically bit of flexible, say some tools basically focus, say only they will say, okay, whatever I have, you have to use that way. Okay, so that way customer will find, okay, it is something is enforced to them. Okay, so those who are
I
bit,
think, just to add to this, the tool should not dictate the company.
Exactly.
Company working. The company should tell how the tool
exactly
should
that is
work.
what I'm trying to say. So the tool should be a bit of flexible. Say customer is demanding something which might not be aligned completely with ITIL, but actually their operation works that way. Okay, so tool should be little bit flexible. Okay, and then the vendors would basically focus on bit of customization also, because many people want, say, ITIL plus there is some extra services they are doing, okay, which might not be aligned to ITIL. So those kind of integrations or minor changes they would ask. Okay, so instead of enforcing the tool, let's adapt their practices. Okay, align ITIL around that. Okay, and then on top of that, do minor of changes in their practices also, so they will not feel much of change, and they will not feel the enforcement. And then even though they are going to follow ITIL, and gradually you can improve their practices also. Okay, so that is the way it is. Actually, the transition happens to those companies actually will be easier. Otherwise, they will feel it is very difficult, and over a period of maximum of 1 year, they will see it's a useless tool. Okay, for us, and our operation is getting delayed. Okay, so they will not be able to take the advantage. So that's what is my suggestion. So don't enforce anything to the organizations.
So basically, the company adopting should also be
ready for that.
Right, without that mental maturity,
exactly,
adopting this.
Yeah, if they don't have infra on place, what is the use of pushing that? So, but for the smaller companies, like say, they should not use the emails and other stuff. I would rather suggest they should use some smaller help desk kind of tools. Okay, they should use tools on the place, because that will help whenever organization grows, right? So that time actually what happens, they will be searching around the tools, and then they will be searching around consultants. Okay, but if they start using tools, they will be having data. So how to align the right practices, those tools will help. Even some tools they can help based on their financial budget, or based on their practices what they follow. But they should use some tool. That is what my suggestion.
I mean, experience-wise, I think recently we went through the CMMI 3 certification, right? The person who was auditing, his comment was, "I'm surprised to see the number of tools you're using," right? Because then it becomes, his job became much easier in seeing what you're doing and what not doing, and then suggesting what improvements are actually required. So definitely, I think tool is the way to go.
Even see, you will be having data around it. There's many tools are coming with the analytics. Many tools which are coming with AI. AI also require data. What will you do if you don't have data? So you should have the data, and data to use the maximum use of the data. Basically, you should use some tool to collect that data, so you can feed and get the maximum benefit whenever you want.
Initial data collection, then look at what to do, analytics and improvements on top of it. So even for EverestIMS, right? The Infront product platform, ITSM is a very key part of the entire things. In which your vision, what are we doing? How are you going to improve it? How is it getting more aligned to what customer needs? Can you take us through this entire thing?
Basically, as I said earlier, that tools also should focus on simplifying ITIL. We are also very much aligned to it. We are keep on improving our offering on ITIL, and we are simplifying a lot all the ITIL practices, so that even a new people who don't understand any ITIL, they can understand, okay, what this tool does. Okay, and we are again not enforcing anything. What we do, how we work with the customer, basically we take their requirement, how they functions, okay, and then we put our tool on their practices, bit of improvement, okay, and then align of ITIL, okay. And say Infront is completely focusing on AI and ML, so we are also using certain Gen AI features, okay, so that is also on place. Then on top of that, we are not enforcing on the licensing. We are not enforcing then which platform they should use, SaaS Okay, our market is going towards SaaS, but we don't enforce anybody. Okay, if they want to do a capex, then why we have to enforce on SaaS? We will offer them on-prem. They can buy in subscription as well as they can buy in perpetual license, because it is all about customer benefit. It is not about actually what we are doing. You have to follow, which is many large vendors does that. Okay, we have this, you use or not, and then sometimes what happens, we have got a customer complaint like, we have bought tool, but it is almost a year nobody is using. So that kind of practices we don't follow with our customer, and we don't want at all. Okay, so if customer is not using, we will rather say either we will try that they should use, or else we will say, sir, unsubscribe. So that kind of practices we follow, so that it is easier for them, and customer is safeguarding with us. And sometimes what happens, if customer demand certain changes which is not available in the tool, so we, based on the whether it is aligned to our roadmap or it can be aligned to the product, okay, then we do the customizations also. Okay, that is also there. Anyway, SaaS platform is always that the customer can subscribe to SaaS as well as on-prem. Okay, and then we are keep on working with the customer as a partner. So basically, we participate with their growth. It is not like, see, whatever I want to push to the customer on day one, you do that. Okay, so what happens? We sell first. Okay, whatever customer is demanding, minimal we sell. Then we work with the customer as a partner. Okay, and then we see their growth, and accordingly we keep on suggesting them what extra thing they can put on place. Okay, and you will not believe, on enterprise side, whichever customer we have, they have always increased our license. I have always got a repeated order. There is that kind of thing. It was there actually. So basically, if you enforce them, they will feel okay. Somebody has just sold that, done something and ran away. Whereas we works like, see, we sell and then we work with as a partner, and then we can basically upselling them. Those kind of practices we are following with our customers.
It also gives us input as to what to improve, what to do.
Churning cycle is also low. See, most of the say ITSM tools, basically around three and a half years, people want to change. But our churning cycle will be more. You will not believe many customers are using more than a decade.
That's
okay,
true, yes.
So even though they are not a large customer, like they cannot change the tool, but they are using. Okay, so you can say basically the practice which we are following is more suitable on the customer benefit side rather than our benefit. If customer is getting benefit, it is directly we will be also getting benefit over a period of time.
That's the basic.
Yeah, so that is the practices our sales team follow basically. Yeah,
I think the product team also is
aligned.
Same,
Yeah,
is
aligned to that.
Thank you so much, Deepak. It was really informative. A lot of parts is something that I think we didn't know about, right? Very clearly came out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure talking to you.
Same.